to Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast.
Welcome in. Go ahead and try it.
What is this?
Well, you know what? We got a beer of the week. We'll talk about. I'll tell you.
Because I'm like
to Just an Average Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host Daniel Hayes with Matt Baker.
That was me,
the inquisitive one. He's not drinking beer, so I passed him one of mine to pop the top on, and it's a beer of the week. I've tried it before. It's called a Yingling Flight.
It's
only 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, 4.2% alcohol. Yeah, it's refreshing.
Very refreshing. That's got a crisp.
I'm trying to watch the LBs, so I can't get the full flavored Yingling. So it's kind of like a Yingling Light.
It is. Like I can still get the hint of Yingling, but it does taste like airy.
Yes,
I guess would be a good term.
It definitely is a light beer. It's got you can chug about 7 of them and you're in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
So
I've never looked into it. I watch my LBs. I just watch adding them to me and just keep going. Keep on keeping on.
Well, I've dropped roughly 50 pounds.
Hey, hell yeah!
So I'm working. I'm trying to
get
work.
Circumcised.
I just got one nut removed.
Got a what's it called? Oh, not
an elephant. No,
elephant.
An elephantectomy.
Scrodectomy. Yeah, no, that one didn't work. But we'll work on that and come back later.
We start the show off the fucking rails.
Hey, I'm gold. I'm gold with it.
Anyway, you can find us at avgffpod.com. Also got the YouTube back online, or they got it back online, I guess. I don't fucking know. There was a couple episodes that didn't show up, but it is back. And also, I didn't realize that YouTube does podcasts, but hopefully we'll be showing up on YouTube podcasts as well. So I hopefully got that going and whatnot. But go to our website. You can listen there. You can listen just about anywhere you can get a podcast. You can click the buttons on there and take you to the places you want to go to. Go give us a like, follow, subscribe. We do appreciate everybody that's still sticking with us. We know it's towards the end of the season. This is generally when the listeners starts taking a big dip.
Everybody starts dipping off.
Yeah, people who aren't contending anymore just kind of fade away, and then the playoffs, it gets less and less and less. But for those of you that are still sticking around, we do appreciate it. We appreciate all the listens and downloads and whatnot. It means a ton to us. And so I hope you guys keep doing that. And any feedback you want to give to us, if you can find us in the places that you want to, you can shoot us an email at avgffpod@gmail.com. Or actually, I'm sorry, have to revert back to our old name. It's avgnflpod@gmail.com. Also, you can find that on the website. You can just go to contact us too, and you can put in there, and however you want to get a hold of us, reach out to us on Facebook, whatever. We'd love to have any sort of interaction, beer of the week suggestions, questions. We'd love questions. Makes us feel smart if you ask us start shit stuff.
And put us on the spot. Fuck it, I don't care. Like, hey, why'd you say this?
Yeah, exactly. And if you think we're dumb for things we say, because
you're dumb.
Some of my don'ts some of my don'ts need to be called out, which is why we do a toast to roast every week. So we try to call each other out.
A lot of my smashes definitely need to be called out.
So, all right, from there, where you want to roll into some news? All right, here we go. Jonathan Brooks tore his ACL again.
The same terrible. One.
Yeah.
Same ACL.
Yeah, I knew it was bad when he went down. It was non-contact. He got the ball. He tried to make a cut, and it was a no-go. I felt like that's what it was. So hopefully he can get fixed up. But I don't know who the Panthers are going to be calling in, but Blackshear was out. Now Jonathan Brooks is down. Chuba was the only man left standing, and he got to work and did pretty good against a tough defense. Let's see. Derek Carr broke his hand. Right now, they're saying week to week. He doesn't want to go on the IR. I suspect he will miss multiple weeks regardless. Aiden O'Connell is getting an MRI. We're hearing different reports of most likely season injury, may not be season ending. So, and that really just pertains to, you want Aiden O'Connell to be out there because he's the best fantasy option for any receiver. You know, the Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers. that you're trying to ride with into these playoffs. We don't want Desmond Ridder because those guys will become virtually non-existent. But it doesn't sound good, the most of the reports. Also not sounding good, George Pickens likely to miss week 15 with a grade 2 hammy strain or pull. So that's not good. This is a hamstring is generally a lingering thing. It could be another week after that. So for those of you like me who have put a lot of faith into Pickens, it's not a good. It's definitely not good. I would suggest going and grabbing. Is it Calvin Austin?
Yes.
And Van Jefferson.
Yeah,
those should have. I should have thought about that when we were doing the waiver stuff, but we'll say it now.
I looked at Van Jefferson. Cedric Tillman.
No, he's on the Browns.
And so is
Calvin Austin Jr.
Calvin Austin is on. I get them all mixed up.
I'm with you. I get those two mixed up for whatever reason too. But Calvin Austin is on the Steelers, and Tillman is on the Browns. I do know that.
Yes.
Let's see. Kenneth Walker's dealing with a calf issue. He's getting tests run today, so we need to monitor that. Charbonnet did great in his absence. Isaac Guerrero dealing with foot sprains day to day. He posted that he feels great, but the team's going to say they're going to take it, one day at a time type stuff. So
yeah,
need to monitor that. Herbert has a leg contusion after this game, so he came across as questionable today. I don't expect it to be anything that's going to cause him to miss a game, but it's still something to monitor. And then Bucky Irvin's dealing with a couple different things. One of them's being that kept him out of the game was back tightness. So you keep on that and his status moving into the next week as well. Was there any other news that I may have missed that you can think of?
No. Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, let's head into what I know you're writing stuff down and trying to be smart over there. What did you decide was our fuck that guy?
That was
sounder.
Gonna be.
Or did I decide that it was this one?
That's probably it.
Yeah, there it is. So we'll go into.
Well, I do a different one every fucking week.
So scoring was up by a decent bit this week, especially being on a bye week. So there wasn't a ton, especially in the quarterback compartment, but there was one, and this might be the last week he gets put on the list. Not because he's going to do good moving forward, but because he's not going to rate it.
Yeah, it's not worth it anymore.
But Keaton Cousins, he has been abysmal. He has thrown, I think, 7 or 8 picks now and no touchdowns in the last handful of games.
It's bad. I don't know what it is. What's bad?
I don't know what has happened. If he just fell off a cliff, sometimes it happens. But he looked okay at the beginning of the season, but things just have progressively got worse for them. The organization says they're not planning on going anywhere else. I expect as long as they're in a playoff hunt, they're going to ride with Kink because of how much money they're paying him. And as soon as they get eliminated from the playoffs, then if there's any time left, it may come to the last game. If there's any time left, then a game or whatever, you may see Penix play.
Yeah.
But I don't expect to see Penix come out unless Kink just absolutely keeps crap in the bed. Because even with him playing the way he's playing, it was a blowout in Minnesota, but it wasn't a blowout like it from start to finish.
Yeah,
they were. If they could have converted stuff, they could have stayed with them and put pressure on Minnesota. But eventually, it got away from them in the second half. It was absolute.
The good news is
dog walked them.
It plays Vegas and the Giants and Washington over the next 3 games. And
I think that's a big reason why they're leaving Kink in. It's supposed to be plus matchups.
Yep.
And so Minnesota is a tough defense. I know that he was probably wanting to do good since he went back to his old team, but it looks like maybe Minnesota was right. Getting rid of him,
getting out from underneath that because Darnold put a hurting on him. So
and Darnold's playing for big money.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be at Minnesota next year, but he's going to be somewhere making.
He'll be at Las Vegas.
Cash, possibly.
He'll be at Las Vegas.
They're going to have their one pick though, so it's going to depend on if they get a draft. But he could be at Vegas. He could be. He could be in the Colts,
Yeah, I guess if they want it. Well, they got so much in Anthony Richardson right now.
He's just on a rookie contract. If it's not. There's tons of things that
tons of options. There's quite a few places he could end up.
Tennessee could be in Tennessee, New Orleans. Yeah. So wherever I think he's going to get paid, he may stay in Minnesota, but I don't think they're going to want to pay him. He's going to want top money after this season because he's going to finish.
This is a good
as
season.
a top end, and who knows what they're going to do in the playoffs and whatnot. I mean, if he happens to pull off and wins a ring,
a couple,
if he wins a ring or at least a couple playoff games, I mean, he could just it could be a blank check.
Get
deal.
whatever he wants out of it. Yeah.
All right, back to to King Cousins, who's been unclean ass for multiple weeks now. Fuck that guy. All right, you got anybody?
I have zero. That's the only quarterback I had. It's the only one I could really rank and be like. And mainly just.
Kyler Murray was kind of trash, but they were all like 13, 14, and those aren't weak killers necessarily.
He was trash for like football, but he wasn't as ugly trash. For fantasy, he had a couple runs. His points were a little up there, but for football, he didn't look good at all.
Right.
Like there was a lot there. But running back wise, I've got a couple. I mean, I got D Swift going out there. Does
he even rank to be on the list anymore?
He's their starting back, and he did so good at the beginning of the season, or not beginning.
He had a stretch.
He had like a 6-week stretch where he was like an RB4 or 3 or 5. He did
I don't know if it was
well.
6 weeks,
but
there was a stretch where he played Carolina. He played somebody else. I think it was a 3 or 4 week stretch where he was dominating.
He was kicking ass. However we look at it, he was out there kicking ass.
He's not doing it anymore,
and it is not happening anymore at all. Like he's not even close. So it's garbage can. And this is probably part the way the game worked out. But James Cook. 3.9 points. I think Josh Allen took all his everything out of it.
Yeah, Josh Allen scored all the touchdowns.
Yeah, he did, and
took
all the rushing yards. Yeah, like 80-something rushing yards. He was owning the game out there.
Well, I'll throw. We'll say to James Cook and to DeAndre Swift. Yeah, fuck those guys. Yeah, I'll throw out there Alvin Kamara. I only throw it out there just because. We expected a bigger week out of him, but it didn't happen. It's 10.4, so we'll just say it real soft, Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
All right, I got one.
I think I might know who this is.
Debo fucking Samuel, bro.
Yeah.
Debo. I don't know what the hell happened, my guy. This season lined up for him to dominate. Ayuk plays like ass and then goes out.
Yep.
McCaffrey's been in and out or whatever, and you expected, hey, this could be Debo's season, man. Running the ball, catching the ball, this guy could go out there and he could absolutely dominate. And the only thing he's dominated is being at the bottom of the fucking list of scorers every week.
Fucking punt returning.
Yeah. he is killing me. 4.5 points. I'm going to be dropping him in a couple of redrafts this week as a landmine, hoping somebody else picks him up, and that way they can throw him in their lineup, and then I'll have to play them, and then he'll probably put up 40 that week.
That's 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
He scored less than 5 points.
Yeah.
Like right at 5 points.
Unclean ass, bro.
It's not good.
Unclean ass. So to Debo Samuel, a very heartfelt fuck that guy.
I guess if we're going to talk wide receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown this week, 7.8 points.
Yes.
DK Metcalf this week, 6.9 points.
Not nice.
I mean, not nice at all. And AJ Brown.
I want to add a caveat to AJ Brown. So we'll do DK and Amon-Ra, and I'll take AJ Brown. So I got something else I want to say about that.
All right.
Yeah. So to DK and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amon-Ra, sorry, dude. I know you're not used to being here, but welcome. To the ugly streets.
Tell him to start throwing to you more.
Yeah. So to those two, fuck those guys. So I did put AJ Brown on my list, but then I went and looked at tape, quote unquote tape, meaning I went and found whatever I could find in footage because I watched that game. It's the first Panthers game I've watched the whole game of for probably since the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And a lot of times either Hurts is scrambling and AJ Brown was wide open, or Hurts is throwing the ball to someone else who's double covered and AJ Brown was wide open. So I'm trying to figure out, is AJ Brown that open, or was he only that open because once Hurts either scrambled or threw the ball, the defense slacked off?
Yeah.
And so I started looking, and I found some all-22 footage, and I looked at it. AJ Brown was wide the fuck open, dude.
Just the whole time.
If I was quarterbacking, I could have got him the ball.
Oh.
He was like, there were a couple times where he was like 10, 15 yards wide open.
Like separation
Yes.
out away from everybody else.
And Hurts just didn't see him. And I'm talking like downfield. And so as much as, and look, AJ Brown's got to own it. He's still going to be part of this. But it's going to have to be more. It's Hurts is going to take about 75% of this.
He needs to speak up at the meeting this week and be like,
Yes.
"Hey, dude,
Well, he was pissed.
I was fucking
He
open."
was not happy after the game. He didn't say anything, but his face said a lot.
Yeah.
And so Hurts is going to carry 75% of this, and 25% of this can go to AJ Brown. So we just give it to him.
Just a little.
Yeah, fuck that guy. So, and then I got 2 tight ends I'll throw out there. Brock Bowers, welcome to the ugly streets, 6.7. And then Travis Kelce, who's in contention with Debo for the fucky this year. So both of these 2 tight ends killed a lot of lineups. AJ Brown's been dominating all season, and then Kelce, it's a roller coaster, ride. So to those 2 guys, we just say to them, fuck those guys. All right, that's all I got. Do you have any more?
The only other one I want to throw on there, just because it was, nope, never mind. What the fuck am I looking at? Never mind, ignore that. I wrote somebody on my list, but that is not who that is. So
what do you mean that's not who that is?
7.9.
7.9?
Yeah,
that's what.
That'd be
what position?
Wide receiver.
Yeah, that would be the same. Amon-Ra scored 7.8.
Yeah, DJ Moore scored 7.9 this week.
Oh, that's who it was.
And I was like looking at it, but I wrote down, I got 3.5 written down. But either way, still DJ Moore on 2 weeks, back-to-back weeks, where you were wide receiver 4 and wide receiver 7. You scoring big points. Everybody's putting you in the lineup and like trusting it finally, like thinking that they figured it out and they know what's going on and they're going to make it happen. And you went out there and put up 7.9 points. So, a little bit of a hard sell.
Caleb Williams, that offensive line,
that whole situation. It was it's just fuck that guy
and all the guys,
all those guys, fuck all those guys. D Swift, all of them, everybody on the Bears. Figure shit out.
Figure it out now.
I thought they figured it out. They had 2 good games. Now they were like late comeback backup games, but
I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to pull up leaders right for our for next segment.
Yeah.
And I'm in our home league where we have defensive players.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently
So
Gross Matos is our current leader, who's a defensive lineman.
Oh, wow. Like overall?
Yeah, for this week, for week 14.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, he's got like 30
them
fantasy
defensive
points.
scores, man. They fuck some days up, man.
Yeah, they do. Well, Gross Matos, I don't think he was on a lineup. I think he's on waivers.
Yeah, nobody knows who he is.
He's got 30 fantasy points right now, and I was trying to figure out. I was like, why is Gross Matos at the top?
I need to go get this guy. Why is he not on my waivers list?
Well, he used to, I don't know if he's still in the Panthers, but he used to be. And so that was also a thing. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a defensive lineman. and then I remembered I'm in the wrong league. So let me get here and get there and do things and get on it. So all right, so I guess you got what do we do for top performers? Isn't it a kaboom or some shit?
I think for top performers, we do this.
Oh, yeah, no.
Can't be touched, can't be stopped, can't be moved, can't be rocked, can't be shook. We hot.
There it is. All right. Well, sitting at the top, the number 1 fantasy quarterback of all time, weekly scorer.
MVP.
He is on his way to an MVP. His name is Joshua Allen.
Yes, please.
Also known as NFL Chris Pratt.
Yes.
And he scored 51.9 in I think this is a 6-point league.
Well, he just scored another 3 points right now while we were talking for no reason.
Are you in best average? Can you check the score settings? I can't remember if I set this up as a 6 or 4 point.
We'll check it right now.
But yeah, anyway, he's the QB1, 342 passing yards, 82 rushing yards.
4 point.
Okay, so this isn't a 4-point league, 51.9. 82 rushing yards, yes.
That's crazy.
3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, absolutely dominated.
That happens all the time, though. So, I mean,
every time I turned around, this is the first time anyone's ever put up 3 rushing, 3 passing in a game that they lost. Vic has also done it, but he won that game. And then, so, hopefully he can start getting some dubs, but, I mean, he played his heart out. He did everything he could to win that game. His defense failed him.
Yes.
And so, but he won a lot of fantasy weeks for you. And thankfully, I didn't play against him anywhere. Maybe I did one. Yeah, I think in one league I played against him. but I also had him in a few. So it was, I'll take that. Sam Darnold, on any other week, this would have been an absolute dominating week, but instead it's the number 2 fantasy quarterback on the week. 5
total touchdowns, whatever.
347 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. He was giving them out like Oprah giving away cars, baby.
Man, Josh Allen kept 3 and then passed out 3.
Yeah. See, Tua Tagovailoa, this guy, you want to talk about somebody who's on a heater right now. He's since week 11, QB 10, QB 3, QB 7, QB 4. He is gonna, if he keeps at this pace, he's gonna be winning some people some leagues. He is 331 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, not a ton of passing yards, 108, but he ran for 59 yards and 2 passing. He did have 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown with that tush push. Jared Goff, 283 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, QB 5 on the week. Brock Purdy getting back into the swing of things, 325 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Matthew Stafford in a shootout with Josh Allen got the dub, 320 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Baker Mayfield getting back on his horse and throwing for 295 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. He did have a couple picks in this game. This game started off like he was about to light the world on fire, and then he kind of slipped a little bit and then pulled it back together at the end. Kyler Murray, despite looking like just ass out there, 259 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers can't buy a win right now, but he finally broke 300 yards since like 2021.
Yep.
339 yards and a passing touchdown. Jameis Winston throwing picks and all, 212 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Russell Wilson, it wasn't as crazy as we thought it was going to be, but it was still effective for finish out the top 12, 158 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and they did get the dub. All right, switch to the running back. Zach Charbonnet coming in to in replacement of Kenneth Walker, who missed the game. 134 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Also caught 7 balls for 22 yards. So it was
59 yards.
I'm sorry. That was 22 rushes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
77 receptions for
59 yards. Yeah, I'm sorry. I looked at the wrong numbers. Isaac Guerrero only played 56% of the snaps, got hurt, but he still rushed for 78 yards, 50 receiving, and got 2 rushing touchdowns. Josh Jacobs, he is on a touchdown fucking tear right now. You look at what he's been doing, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown. He's also,
last 4 weeks, 1-3, 1-3 is what his touchdowns have been the last 3.
Oh, I clicked the wrong person. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, I clicked Zach Charbonnet.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, this is not what am I talking? What was going on? Yes.
But yeah,
the last 4 weeks, 1-3, 1-3. So he's had 8 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks.
Yes.
Which means that this next week he's only going to get 1.
Against Seattle, probably.
Yeah. But he has been on a touchdown tear since coming off the bye, and is absolutely eating right now. Is the RB3 on the week. RB4 was Rachaad White, having to play he played 76% of the snaps.
He was actually efficient carrying the ball.
Yeah, he ran the ball 17 times for 90 yards, had 19 yards reception, got receiving and a rushing touchdown. He only got 2 receptions in that game, which is odd for him to play a whole game, but it worked. Kyron Williams just does what Kyron Williams does, and that's called scoring touchdowns. So, this guy is a touchdown maker. He had a 4-week span where he didn't score a touchdown. But outside of that, from week 8 to week 11, he didn't score a touchdown. Outside of that, every single game he scored a touchdown. Actually, there's only 3 games he didn't score a touchdown, because one of those games he scored a receiving touchdown. Mm-hmm. So in the entire season, he's only had 3 games that he hasn't got a touchdown. He is as close to a touchdown guarantee as you can get. But he is the RB5 on the week. James Conner, just doing everything he can to keep his team afloat. 90 rushing yards, 32 receiving, and receiving touchdown. QB RB6 on the week. Bijan just keeping on. 92 rushing, 9 receiving, rushing touchdown. Chuba being the only guy around, had to run the ball 26 times, but it was for 92 yards. That was a tough game against Philly. The rushing defense is very good. He had 15 receiving and a rushing touchdown. David Montgomery, again, another guy that all he does is get buckets. He's only had 3 games all season that he hasn't had a touchdown. So him and Kyron Williams is close to a touchdown guarantee you can get. 51 rushing, 33 receiving, and rushing touchdown. Tyrone Tracy, RB10 on the week, 45 rushing, 38 receiving, and a rushing touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, 43 rushing, 30 receiving, and a receiving touchdown. And Devon Achane, don't get a ton of rushing work. Didn't get a lot of receiving yards, but he got a rushing touchdown, and he got 6 receptions. So he's there on the volume play.
Gibbs is another one that's only had 3 weeks with no touchdown. Just
Yeah.
heads up.
Yeah.
They've been like, I don't know, Sonic and Knuckles or something.
All right, wide receivers. Puka Nacua, wide receiver 1 on the week. This guy is unbelievable. There were some catches he made that game. What? It's recording.
Oh, why does it say 14 minutes?
Well, it's still recording. The timer just stopped,
That's
though.
weird. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Up there it goes. Wow.
No, you were right. See, it's a 25.
like-
it jumped from 14 to 25.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. I'm like, we've been doing this for a long time for it to only say 14 minutes.
I don't know. That was weird. Hopefully,
okay.
it's not glitched when it plays
Yeah,
back.
no, that would be really weird, right? Just
Puka Nacua, the wide receiver 1, 12 receptions, 162 yards, and a receiving touchdown. And some of those damn catches, I mean,
yeah, multiples. It wasn't like it was just one catch was amazing. He had
lays
multiples.
out, man. This guy, he must have to take hour-long ice baths after every game.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison showing up. This is a couple weeks in a row now where he's well, not a row, two of the last 3, I should say.
Yeah.
Where he has been dominant. 8 receptions, 133 yards, and 3 of those 5 that was divvied out by Darnold. Touchdowns. Justin Jefferson finally getting back on his horse. 7 receptions, 132 yards. The other 2 touchdowns. Juwan Jennings. I guess if Debo's going to blow ass, it's just him and the big burly tight end that plays for Kittle. It's just him and Kittle. Yeah. They're going to do all the receiving for him. But he had 7 receptions, 90 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill finally getting some of that volume back, which we love. 10 receptions, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Devontae Adams caught 9 balls for 109 and a touchdown. And then Jalen McMillian. Hey, that's
McMillian. Yeah.
He'll be making McMillions if he keeps up this.
Right.
4 receptions, 59 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns after just being non-existent for most of the year. Tim Patrick.
Speaking of non-existent for most of the year.
Timberland Patrickson, as we call him when he's good.
Right.
6 receptions, 43 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Khalil Shakir, Mr. Steady, 5 receptions, 106 yards, and a tud. Roma Dunze, well, he made a couple really nice grabs in that game as well. 4 receptions, 42 yards, and 2 tuds. And then Cooper Kupp, 5 receptions, 92 yards, and a tud. And then Darnell Mooney, 6 receptions, 142 yards. 3 of those and 105 of those were in the first half of that game.
Yes.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver 13, 5 receptions, 82 yards, and a tud. Jalen Waddle getting in the mix, 9 for 99, 9s across the board. Garrett Wilson on a volume play, 7 receptions for 114 yards. Jerry Jeudy still in the mix, 5 receptions, 64 and a tud. And then we'll close it out with old man Adam Thielen, 9 receptions, 102 yards, no touchdowns, another volume play there. All right, tight ends. Speaking of Kittle, here he is at the top where he's been all
tight
damn
end
season.
1? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 6 receptions, 151 yards, and then just absolutely eating out there. David Njoku, thank goodness, 7 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown. Pat Freiermuth, my stream of the week, 3 receptions, 48 yards, and a tud. Juwan Johnson, 4 receptions, 50 yards, and a touchdown.
That was my stream of the week.
It was. Jonnu Smith, it all in overtime. He was absolute 0.
All the way to overtime.
And then the overtime quarter, he caught 3 balls for 44
It was 20,
yards and a
14,
touchdown.
and then the touchdown. I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
Tucker Kraft had 3 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown. Trey McBride, 7 for 70, no tuds.
No touchdown.
And then we'll include Michael Mayer since he doesn't get on the list often. 7 receptions, 68 yards, no tuds. So there it is. There's your top performers of the week. And from there, we're going to roll into toast or roast. And I don't remember what we did for toast or roast.
I don't know.
I'll come up with something.
FBI, open up!
It's such a stupid drop, but I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, my God.
All right. Let's see. Let's go back to the streamers. Let's see. I got Cooper Rush playing tonight, so we'll have to hopefully remember to talk about that tomorrow. So who was your QB streamer?
It was dumb, so ignore it. We're going to pretend like I didn't even say it.
Tell me it wasn't King Cousins.
Actually, he did better than King. Well, he probably did about the same, maybe a little worse. I don't know. I said Mac Jones against the Titans.
What did he score?
7.1 points.
Yeah, he did
QB
worse.
22. Yeah, it was worse. I know, but I mean, it was streamer. I was like, he's going to be available. He might disappoint.
Nah,
it didn't happen.
No.
It was trash. So boo me. Yeah, definitely good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to give you the.
Yeah, boo the shit out of me. There it is.
All right. My tight end of the week was Pat Freiermuth. He is the tight end 3 on the week.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. Give me a little bit of that toast there with your Jack Daniels. Oh, beer can. There we go. All right. You can calm down, guys. All right. Who's your tight end streamer?
My tight end was tight end 15, but it was Tommy Trimble. He had 6.8 points. So
Wasn't terrible. We'll give him a little bit
not too terrible, but not the worst or best. But
Yeah.
it could have come through in a pinch.
And then my defense streamer was the Saints at the Giants, and they were the defense 3 on the week, scoring you 10 points.
Ooh, nice.
I'm going to need all the toast I can get because we're going to be doing some roasting in a second. And who's your defense?
My defense was the Dolphins versus the Jets, and they were defense 17. They scored you 3 points.
Yeah,
It didn't score you 0.
It's another one.
Yeah, it's just no 0, but it's still.
Anytime a
defenses
defense
can be
gets me
tough.
positive, I'm
Yeah,
happy.
It can be tough. So
All right, let's see. My don'ts. I'll run through them real quick. This is a big fat. I had Matt Stafford. I said don't play Matt Stafford versus Buffalo. He is the QB 7 on the week currently with 20.8 fantasy points. So. It gets a big fat. But then Gus Edwards is the RB 24. He didn't kill you. It's 9.6, so you get a little bit of toast, but you a
He
little
got
bit in
that
the middle.
touchdown.
Yeah, that's the only thing he said to me. If he not got a touchdown, he would have. It would have fit right in the. And then I said, don't play Xavier Legette at Philadelphia. I said, play Adam Thielen because they have trouble with the slot. I said, but don't play Legette. So I'm going to give myself that.
If he could have got his hands under that one, that was a beautiful throw. It was a beautiful.
It could have
been a catch.
touchdown.
Exactly, he would have rolled in for a touchdown. That would have changed the game. It was like 47 yards. It was.
And they would have taken the lead with like 40 seconds left in the game or something.
Short. Initially, I thought he had it, but then definitely on the replay, I could see where it hit the ground. So,
all right. Well, how'd your bottoms do?
All right. So I'll start with my worst. I said Parker Washington. He got you 2.5 points. Then I was like Jawan Johnson, owned in 6% of leagues, got you 12 points.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are pretty good.
That's real good.
And then owned in 0% of leagues was he's owned now, but Sincere McCormick, which we talked about, 9.9 points. And honestly, if you went and got him, if you went and got him,
you're going to be sitting pretty.
Set
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah. Because I think he might have earned being. I don't know if he's going to be the main guy moving forward, but he's definitely going to be highly involved.
Well,
he's the most explosive thing they got at running back.
At minimal, he's definitely pushed White out or no.
Zamir White.
Zamir White. There you go. He's definitely pushed out. If Madison comes back and everybody's healthy, I can see them splitting it a little more than what they did, but he's definitely going to be way more involved than White was. So,
all right. Well, let's go to smashes.
Okay.
My QB smash on the week was Baker Mayfield. QB 8, scoring 20 fantasy points. Give me a little bit of that. Give me a little bit of that. I'll take that toast. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your
just
QB?
keep it up. Mine was Brock Purdy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. QB 6 on the week with 22.1 points.
We're on a roll, baby. Well, who was your running back?
My running back was Kyron Williams. Had 3 bad weeks and then had a decent week this week. Come back. 22 points, RB5 on the week. We talked about him in top performers. So
mine wasn't a total full-on smash, but it didn't kill you. Mine was Tony Pollard versus Jacksonville. He was the RB16, so I get a little bit.
If their offense was a little more high-powered, he would definitely be. He would have had a great week.
Yes,
because they were all over him, and he was pushing through tackles, man.
And then my wide receiver smash was Jacoby Myers at Tampa, wide receiver 30 on the week with 10.2. So that's a little bit of. He didn't kill you, but that's definitely not. I don't know why we cheers.
No, I'll cheers the shit out of that. Just because, I mean, you look at Vegas, the whole thing's falling apart. He got you 10 points. If you're playing anybody on Vegas to get you 10 points, you're doing good.
Yeah, and if you play Jacoby Myers, you're just forced to play him.
Yeah, and he was wide receiver what?
30.
Oh, so my wide receiver is one beneath yours.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Drake London on the Falcons. So,
but see,
wide receiver 31 at 9.5
But here's the you're going to have to get this.
Oh,
here's
no,
the reason.
all day.
Here's the reason. because Drake London you expect
That's
to
what
be
I'm
at the
saying.
top. With Jacoby Myers, you throw him in a flex and he gets you 10, you're like, thank God.
Yeah, like, okay.
But
I'll
no
be
one's
okay with
ever
that.
looked at 10 points from Drake London and went, thank God.
Oh, no, not at all. And he didn't even get 10 points. He got 9.5. So, no, trust me, I'm all about the wants over here for that. So.
And I'm not going to I want the situation. Disley went out hurt. He was my tight end. So
Well, my tight end plays tonight. It's either going to be Ferguson or Schoonmaker. I think Ferguson's healthy.
think it's
so
Fergs.
It's going to be Ferg.
he was full practice. So.
He's my tight end smash for the week. So
All right. Well, from there, let's roll into some waivers. All right.
These nuts.
Got him. All right. Well, just a few I'm going to run through right here. Sincere McCormick, we just talked about him, 18%. Patrick Taylor, these are running backs. Patrick Taylor with 49ers, 7%. Jaleel McLaughlin, 15%, are three that I've got. Baker's got a couple more he's going to talk to you about. But Sincere McCormick, now, like Baker just said, if Alexander Madison comes back, McCormick's going to be limited. But I really think that this kid, they're in a position where they got to figure out what they got. Madison's not their future. Zamir White's not their future. McCormick could be their future. And so I believe, and I also want to, I need to throw in there Kamani Vidal. I don't know what his ownage is, but
it's pretty low.
It's got to be pretty low. And he went up. And I don't think Gus Edwards is going to disappear, but Vidal's usage went up. So he could be somebody too that you could play in a pinch. And so I want to throw him in there, but I think Sincere McCormick has a chance. I'm not talking about a league winning type chance. I'm just talking about somebody that could become pretty stable into your playoffs. If Madison comes back and McCormick gets the bulk of the carrying, then the 2 weeks after that, you can probably feel comfortable throwing him in flex.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't play him next week if Madison comes back, just because I'd still be worried Madison gets to play, unless I'm desperate. If you lost somebody or whatever. But if you can get away with not playing him, but again, if Madison don't play, then he's a definite flex play.
Yeah, he'll definitely come into flex. Yeah, definitely.
And then Patrick Taylor, you just need to, right now, you need to get go get fucking Keyshawn Vaughn, go get Israel Anaconda.
Yeah, just get
any,
them all.
any running back that's possibly signed to the 49ers, grab them, because you want to get the handcuff to the handcuff to the handcuff to the handcuff, apparently, if you're getting a 49ers
If it's
running
a 49er
back.
running back, you want all of them.
If Garindo plays, then Patrick Taylor is going to be virtually useless.
Yeah.
But if Garindo doesn't play, then Patrick Taylor will become Garindo this week.
Well, I will say too, if sometime in this next week we hear anything about Anaconda being elevated,
Yeah,
because right now
there's
he's
that
still
too. Yeah.
practice squad. So
And see, I will say Anaconda fits their body type running back, bigger, faster. They like big guys, fast guys. So Garindo has like a 99 percentile, 100 percentile speed size score.
Yeah.
And Anaconda isn't that he's not in that level, but he's bigger and faster. He's a 4.4 guy.
he's
who's
just
got a little bit of
handcuff.
size.
He's
Yeah.
like just beneath what.
Yeah,
Garindo would be.
and so they would probably prefer Anaconda over Patrick Taylor in that respect, because I don't think Taylor's as fast as what they generally like. But
Yeah.
and then last is Jaleel McLaughlin. Again, I don't know what the Broncos are doing in that backfield, but maybe somebody emerges and becomes a more consistent play. And if it's going to be anybody, I think it's going to be McLaughlin. I don't think anybody else has the ability unless Tyler Batty comes back. But I think McLaughlin is the best option. And so if he gets 2 weeks in a row, they had he got the bulk of the work. They went on a bye, and now they're coming out of the bye. If McLaughlin comes out of the bye and it looks like he's getting the bulk of the work still, then I'd feel comfortable playing him the following week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So some of these are just kind of plays for down the road if you make it past this first round of the playoffs. So any other running backs? I know you said you had a couple as well.
Isaiah Davis for the Jets. I don't know what's definitely going on, how serious it is with Breece Hall missing this last week. And we thought Braylon Allen was going to be the dude, and he was just half of both dudes.
Right.
I mean, he still looked decent, but this guy, Isaiah Davis, I don't know who he is, but he's fresh.
He's fresh and fast.
He's fast, and he looked really good.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea to have handcuffs.
No.
I'll talk about, especially now
And
we're in the playoffs.
How many fantasy points did he score? Do you know?
Like 14.
Yeah, so he's viable for a flex play.
Yeah, he
in a
ended up
50-50
getting
split.
He ended up getting a touchdown. He still got almost 9 points on 8.8 and some change.
Yeah.
without the touchdown, that's still definitely
Yes.
worth playing. So as long as, of course, hinging on whether Hall plays or not. Because, Braylon Allen got his 10 carries, which he's been getting like 6 to 8 or something. And then, of course, Sean Tucker, if whatever's going on with, Bucky is a serious thing and he went out of the game with something that wasn't even why he was questionable to begin with. So I don't know if he's dealing with multiple items, but even still, Sean Tucker could definitely be an important cuff. And Jalen Wright, I think Mostert's done.
Yeah.
He's missed, last 3 weeks? He was ruled out this last week with a hip or something.
He was trash.
He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
So Jalen Wright was being utilized a lot more.
He is the direct cuff, by the way.
He needs to be
HN.
your cuff if you have HN, especially in the playoffs. In my opinion, right now, he's only on 14% of leagues. I would go ahead and grab him now if I'm going into the playoffs with HN.
Exactly.
Personally, because he's going to be the guy.
HN missed. He came out of last game with something and then came back. So
there could easily
and he's
be
not a big dude. So
there can easily be a need for him coming up.
And then last but not least, I'll say Kendre Miller. He got the first touchdown of the game. We don't know how they're going to utilize him moving forward, but again, this is another team that's looking at their future. As much as we love Alvin Kamara is not their future.
We don't know who their quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be, so I don't expect a ton. But if you got room on your bench for dart throws, if you're pretty stacked and you're feeling good, you can grab some of these guys, throw them on your bench, and then maybe one of them takes off and helps carry you to a championship.
Exactly.
All right, wide receivers. Elijah Moore is only owned in 38% of leagues, so I would go get him. He didn't have a great fantasy week this last week, but he still got 4 targets. And so I think moving forward, Jameis is just going to keep chucking the ball all over the field. Brandon Cooks is only owned at 29%. He's playing tonight. He is the wide receiver too. And so, you need to snatch him up. And then Jalen McMillan, we're just going to call him McMillions. So McMillions is only owned at 12% of the league. He had 2 touchdowns. He has been non-existent this entire season until this last week. But we've been looking for a rookie receiver to emerge this last half of the season. And outside of McConkey, there hasn't really been anybody who's consistently emerged in the rookie realm. Neighbors was really good at the beginning and then kind of dipped off. A lot of that has to do with his quarterback play. I don't put that on him. Yeah. If he had consistent quarterback play, I think Neighbors would be absolutely dominating the season.
Yeah, blowing it away.
I was expecting it to be Marvin Harrison, but he doesn't seem to want to step up, or at least that offense don't want to step up. But there could be, McMillan could be somebody who steps up towards the end of this season. Maybe they found something this last game. He had 2 touchdowns. So it's worth a prospect ad, in my opinion. And maybe somebody like a Ricky Pearsall or whatever, but he hasn't really emerged. He did catch a couple passes this last game. It has been like 100 years this season since he's caught one. But
yeah, it's been kind of in and out. I mean, he come back off the gunshot wound or whatever.
Did good for a game.
He had a game, and then it just kind of
he went back in witness protections.
Yeah, it's kind of faded away. I was high hopes, and now I'm like, maybe
So we'll see. But any wide receivers, any others?
Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah.
He's been last 2 games increased targets, especially with Romeo Dobbs out. And you're always looking for cuffs. Jaden Reed only got 2 targets this last game.
Oh snap! CeeDee Lamb's already got a touchdown.
Yeah, 11 yard from your smash quarterback.
Yep.
So, and but I mean, he's 22%, still pretty low. And I mean, if you want a piece of this, what I consider is going to be a pretty high-powered offense finishing out the season.
Yeah.
They got a pretty nice matchup. I mean, a tough run game defense with New Orleans and Minnesota, but they can still throw the ball.
Yeah.
So, and then Michael Wilson, 15% of leagues. Like I said, that offense is kind of all over the place, but the last 2 weeks he's averaging 7 targets a game, and he got a touchdown this last week, which hasn't happened, but they need to figure something out there because they're not going to win with what they're doing right now, so something's got to change. And then the only other one I'll bring up is just Matt Collins, and only because as long as Keon Coleman's out, he got 6 targets this last game, and I think it's going to increase and stay up.
Yeah.
Because there's a connection there. He's gotten 5 touchdowns so far this year, 3 on the back of the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So there's just something there.
There's something there for
if
sure.
you want a little piece of something to kind of have in case you can throw him in. I've been playing him in my flex in 2 leagues. Because he's got a touchdown 3 of the last 4 weks. It's like, okay, whatever. Let his barefooted ass get out there and score me some points. So,
I do want to add a couple tight ends just because I know the tight end streets are tough. Number 1 is Smart with the Chargers. Can't remember his first name. I'll look at it right now. but he came in after Disley went out, and excuse me, Stone Smart. I don't know how I forgot that.
Stone, yeah.
He only had 3 targets, but he caught all 3 of them for 54 yards. He is super athletic. He looks like an Isaiah Likely type tight end out there, somebody who can get downfield and can play more like a wide receiver. So, that's somebody you need to think about rostering. Maybe they found something with him. I don't know what Disley's status is moving forward, but either way, that guy is far more athletic than Disley is. And then last but not least is Noah Gray. I've been throwing him in a flex. I mean, this last week he wasn't great because he didn't get a lot of yards, but he's had 5, 4, 6, 5 targets in the last 4 games. And so in 2 of those games, he finished as a tight end 1 because he got 2 touchdowns in each of them. And so Noah Gray is somebody too, even, if the Chiefs offense is picking up, and he's also, if you got Kelsey, he's also a good cuff to that as well.
Yes.
So in anybody who has Kelsey, I know it's not great for Kelsey this season, but you're most likely still playing Kelsey every week.
Every week, yeah.
And so Noah Gray needs to be somebody, if you're not playing him, you need to roster him. So that's that. And from there, let's hit these streamers real quick so we can go watch some football.
Okay.
My quarterback streamer this week is going to be Bryce Young versus Dallas. Bryce has been emerging in the last few weeks. And this last week, he played a good game. It didn't show up too much on the fantasy scoreboard, but he's been making tough throws, and he played against a really tough defense in Philadelphia. Dallas is not a very tough defense when it comes to the passing game, and I think Bryce can go out there and get you some fantasy points. Plus, he's playing at home. My tight end smash is Tyler Conklin at Jacksonville. Tyler Conklin has had 5 targets in the last 2 games. They haven't amounted to a ton of fantasy points, but the volumes there in Jacksonville is trash. And despite the Jets being losing every week, they still want to win. They're trying to everything they can to finish out the season strong and show that they're not complete ass. And so I think they're going to go into Jacksonville and try to put it on them. And then my defense this week is Kansas City at Cleveland, and for obvious reason, because Jameis likes to throw the ball to the defense.
As much as you can, yeah.
And those are my streamers of the week. Who you got for your streamers?
Well, it never fails. We're going to at least have one crossover, I guess, on our streamers.
All right.
But it's not our quarterback. Our quarterback, I went with Aaron Rodgers this week, playing against Jacksonville.
Love it.
I think it's a good matchup for him to come back and go, hey, I could do 300 back-to-back and just get out there and maybe get 2 touchdowns this time. Who knows?
And maybe both to Conklin.
And my tight end streamer this week is Tyler Conklin because he's going to get a touchdown this week against Jacksonville, who is garbage against tight ends.
Everything. They're garbage against everything.
They are, but they're a little softer against tight ends than the rest of them. They're like, you know what? Your tight ends haven't scored in a while. Come get some points. Come get it.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I went with the Falcons defense this week. I think they're playing the Raiders. Which I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. It's not going to be O'Connell. If it is Ritter,
then
it's going to be a great day for the Falcons.
It's going to be a real good day for the Falcons defense.
I feel like they're going to get at least 1 pick six. If not, it'll be a Nathan Peterman day and get like 11. That'll be amazing. But even so, that's where I'm at. I got Aaron Rodgers, Tyler Conklin, and the Falcons.
All right. Well, tomorrow we'll kick it off again as we get ready for the first round of the playoffs. I want to. We still got game tonight, so I know there's some of you out there that are still hopeful, still fighting. I'm in that position as well. So if you're not playing me, I hope you get what you need, and I hope congrats to all those who did make their playoffs. It's time to change that mindset. Now it is win. The only thing that matters is winning moving forward after next week.
Win, no matter what. Yeah.
So you got to figure out what your best plays are going to be and get them in there. So we'll hopefully we can help you do that, at least finish in an average way.
At minimum.
So, like we like to say, if anything we say or do helps you get to that average place in your league, that means we did our job. Because if you finish average,
you don't finish last.
That's right. And so hope you guys had a good fantasy week out there. Hope you finish out strong on the Monday night game. And we shall talk to you tomorrow.
Win.
Holla.